Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming. So here we are back in Watch Dogs Legion. Dawn is breaking above us, and we're in an area called Shadwell. It's in the east of London, kind of near Whitechapel, Brick Lane. It's not one of the greatest areas in London. It's not bad, but it's not one of the nicest areas you can see from the surroundings. It's not anything special. And there's a gang of thugs over there. If we go to them, they probably want to have a fight, so I'm going to stay here. So today, short video. For one, it's just something I wanted to mention, but it's a thought I had. Secondly, it's very, very hot in London. We're going through a heat wave. Now, possibly where you are, this isn't going to be hot, but it's like 31 today, and that's hot. So it's kind of hot to have windows closed for soundproofing purposes and stuff like that. So anyway. Today's video is just something that I've noticed ongoingly for years. It's not a new thing. Different things that have happened recently to do with Borderlands actually, and other things have kind of reminded me, but they're not the only things. And this isn't about any particular game or any particular company. It's just a general thing, and that is, why is it that companies in gaming, people in gaming, people who make games, generally from the biggest companies, but it can be anybody, but yeah, biggest companies, as we all know, Gearbox recently had a thing over Borderlands. Randy Pitchfork, I know that's not his name, but there's been things with Ubisoft, there's been things with many other major companies who've done and said things, not just the things they do when they release games that aren't ready and they lie about how the games are, like Mind's Eye, and they release games that aren't ready and try and pretend it's okay and try and hide how the game is until people have bought it. But also the way they talk about the people that buy them. This is what we do, or things like that. This is how it is. We don't care what you think. If we don't like it, there's something wrong with you, etc., etc., etc. And it's all tied in. Some of it's tied in with woke stuff. Some of it's not. Some of it's just arrogant stuff and rude stuff and not very nice stuff. And you kind of think, why is it in gaming, and it's very specific to gaming, that we have this problem where major companies and many people that work high up in major companies, they're not all major companies by the way, but generally, think that they can do what the hell they want, by releasing broken, bad games that they've kind of basically deceived people over. They can charge what they want for games, they can throw in any amount of hidden DLCs and spywares and advertising and pay to win, and then on top of all that, they can then be very rude and condescending and arrogant to the people that are their customers. It's really odd, because if you think about every other form of business, and I don't care whether it's selling TVs or selling cars or selling movies or selling anything, music, sport, no other, I'm not saying there's never been an instance, of course there has been, but no other industry of any type treats their consumers in the same way. You don't have, if you, it doesn't matter how big or small they are, you don't get people who are connected with Sony, as in the context of their electrical products, not with PlayStation, I mean, or Panasonic, probably a better example, or LG TVs, or Ferrari cars, or BMW, or Manchester United, or Hilton Hotels, Holiday Inn, doesn't matter, Walmart, Tesco's if you're in the UK. You don't get people from any of these companies saying, well, they can just we do what we want, we don't care what our customers think, and this is how we do it. And if they do a new product line or do something that's different, they don't say, we don't care, we're just going to do this, and if it's rubbish, well, that's just tough, and buy it, and then if you bought it, well, that's just a shame because that's how we deceived you, and we don't really care. No other companies do that. Even solicitors and banks don't do that. So why is it that in gaming it's so common? It's actually uncommon if that doesn't happen. We're shocked when new games come out and they're not broken, or they've not been marketed in a deceitful way, they've not got hidden DLCs or spywares, and the company aren't basically arsey about the game to the customers. And that's why when things like Clair Obscur come out, everyone's like surprised, because not only is it a good game and they didn't lie about it, but the company's decent and they seem nice, and we're all surprised because we're so used to dealing with lies, rubbish and aggressive companies who talk down to gamers. And I don't have an answer for this, but it's just really odd, because yeah, gamers are going to buy games even if people are rude about it. If you've got a game you like a lot, doesn't matter whether it's Borderlands or whether it's Grand Theft or whether it's Watch Dogs Legion, although there will never be another one of that, but you will buy it anyway. I get that, but that's no different from any other thing. If you like a band, if you like a movie, if you like a sports club, if you like anything else, you'll probably still go to a Manchester United game if they said all their fans were idiots, but they don't, because that'd be bad publicity. So the fact that gamers will still come back and buy a game is no different to any other industry. People generally, yeah, okay, if it's a supermarket or if it's a hotel chain, maybe they won't go back there. But certainly with media and sports, you'll stick with the one you have. But that doesn't mean they talk to their fans or their customers in that kind of way. And to be honest, there's no other industry where they miss-sell products on a regular basis. Of course it happens, not really in sports, it'd be much harder, but in products, of course it can happen. Happens in movies occasionally, happens in TV series occasionally, but not the same, because you can't pre-purchase those things. So if Disney make a bad series, and they have on many occasions, or a bad movie, let's say, you can't pre-purchase it usually. You're not going to. Lots of these things are at the cinema, so it's not the same, and they're not the same price either. So again, it's not that kind of hiding what they're doing and trying to sell broken, rubbish products that they've lied about, or that have got hidden things in them or not in them that should have been. And I don't know why it's got like that. I don't know when. I've always been interested in gaming for decades, so I can't say this is the time I noticed it, but I certainly don't think it happened before. I think DLC and online gaming has influenced the way they treat gamers, because they can obviously add so many things in DLCs and withhold things in DLCs, and they can add things in shops, and they can add spyware, and they can attempt to fix games if they release them when they're broken and patch them later. So I think that's changed things in gaming. You wouldn't have had this before online type gaming and digital gaming, I'm sure of that. I'm not saying there were never examples, but not in the same way as it is now. But it's got worse and worse, and although there's been so many examples of games being released that were rubbish, or they lied about, or they've got spyware in them, or they've got too much DLC, or they're pay to win, etc, 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 and arrogant companies woke games that nobody wanted, remakes that nobody wanted, etc, etc. And lots of these things, and we can go through a list of them, like Concord and there's so many, we could go through a list of them, but it's not stopped companies doing it. It's not meant that any of these companies decided to backtrack and treat their customers with respect, or be nice about it. Mind's Eye's the most recent, where you've got a game where they purposely obviously hid release codes from lots of review sites, and no one could review it and see how bad it was, although people kind of had an idea, and I said on this channel it didn't look good, but it's bad, and they tried to hide that. And that's after all these other games, many games, Dragon Age of Veilguard, and we've got the Assassin's Creed fiascos, and we've got the Borderlands bits and pieces, and we can go through lists of all these games, Redfall, where games were released and they were bad, Suicide Squad, and they've not learned. And they don't learn. And you think, why do they not learn? They've got professional marketing people there and advisors who will say, look, this is the wrong strategy. If we hide this and it goes wrong and people will find out, it will look really bad for us. And you think, why do they do this? Are they that stupid or that greedy to make a quick buck on the people that buy a game and won't refund it or won't play the game? Sometimes, I buy games on PlayStation sale and I don't play them for sometimes years. So are they that desperate to make a quick buck? They don't care about their game, they don't care about their reputation, they don't care about anything. Is that it? And then going forward from that, then you're not going to sell any more games because no one's going to buy a game from you. So it doesn't even make sense from the companies really, because none of these companies have benefited. Even if Borderlands 4 comes out and a lot of people buy it, Randy Pitchfork and Gearbox haven't benefited by the way he's talked about gamers and the attitude he's shown. He's probably lost some people. He may still sell the game, may still be a great seller. I'm sure it will be, because Borderlands is a popular franchise, although I have no idea why. But it won't endear him to people that didn't know the game. If people don't know the game, and bearing in mind the movie sucked, people aren't going to run out and go, oh, I really want to play that because the movie sucked and this guy sounds arrogant. It's not going to get new people on board, so why would you do that? And that's just an example. Like I said, I'm not picking on him or Gearbox or Borderlands or Mind's Eye, because there's been examples back to the Vanguard, BioWare, and we can go through lists and lists of it. So it's just odd. And it's odd that despite all of this, and it used to kind of be interwoven with woke things, but it's not even woke now. Mind's Eye is not particularly a woke thing. It's nothing to do with that. Borderlands, that's not to do with that. It's just to do with arrogant companies, arrogant CEOs who just think they can do what the hell they want for a quick buck, or it doesn't matter what they do because they can get away with it. And it's really, I can't even think of the word, it's really bad that in gaming we have to put up with that, where in any other walk of life, any other industry, whether it's a media, a sport, a business, if that happened, that person would be pilloried by their own company probably, and it would go, because no one would accept that, and that would, or that product, whether it's a sports brand or a TV brand or a car brand or a supermarket brand. And it's just very odd. So anyway, I've rambled on longer than I meant to. I've got more and more warm doing it, just because I'm slightly angry about all these things, and also because it's hot. Anyway, thanks for watching Guess Again Gaming. Till next time, take care for now.